Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. It is the Cassandra Terry morning show. I've got my brothers with me on this fabulous Focus Friday. Welcome, Jay Pasquale. Welcome, Eric Clark, Soul Speaker. Welcome, Brian, Mr. Smart himself. We are ready to get this day going. On Fridays, the topic is always the same, but the way we deliver it, it might change. So today we are talking about focus, focus, focus. What is focus? Why is it important? Why do we talk about it every single week, every Friday? There's a reason for that. We believe that focus is a part of your secret sauce. It's one of the main ingredients in your secret sauce. If you have the ability to hone your resources, your energy, your time, all of your precious resources into a thing, that thing is exponentially more likely to be successful. It's going to be more successful because, and not only will it be more successful, it's going to be more accurate. It'll be more thorough. It will be more well done because you've gotten rid of the distractions. Momentarily, you're saying no to everything else. You're saying no to everything except for that one thing. And that sounds extreme for a lot of people, I get it, but it's temporary. If you've carved out an hour or two to work on your book, that's all you're doing during that hour or two. Everything else falls to the wayside, and you pour everything that you have into that activity. That's focus. That's focus. Being committed to a long-term goal, creating the plan to get there, and then day in and day out taking actions that's going to move you to that goal. That's focus. So that's what we want to talk about today. I've got a quote for you guys. I'm going to put that up. I think he said it a lot more succinctly than I can. So let's see what Thomas Edison had to say about focus. The first requisite for success is the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem, without growing weary. I think it's interesting that he put that without going weary on the end. And I think that's even more relevant today than ever because there are so many places where we can spend our time, our focus, our energy, right? There's so much going on at all times that it's hard to dig into something and not get frustrated. And we also we're in this soundbite life. If you're going to create a video, it needs to be 30 seconds or less, right? If you're going to, our commercials are short and quick, and they try to tell you every possible thing that could go wrong with the medication in a few seconds, and it just run. You can't even catch it. But our brains have been conditioned to that instant gratification, wanting it now. And when we don't have it now, we get frustrated, we get weary, and we'll pick up this next thing. Oh, this is the next shiny object. Ooh, look at that squirrel over there. Oh, there's a rabbit. And before you know it, you're all over the place and you're not honing in on what it is that you desire. I talk about the difference between being busy and being productive all the time. Why? Because it's important. There is something that could take up every moment of my day. So there is not going to be a day where I couldn't be busy. I carve out time to not be busy so I can recharge my battery. But every day, if you look at my work calendar, most days I've got two or three meetings going on at the same time, and I have to make a decision. Where am I going to focus my energy? Which of these meetings is the most important for me and the team to accomplish our long term goals? I can only say yes to one, and I say no to everything else. That allows me to keep moving forward and to keep knocking down those actions because it takes implementation, right? We have a plan, but if we don't actually put energy behind that plan and start to take the steps necessary to accomplish it, it just stays a to-do list on paper. And we're past that, right? We are not going to wrap up 2023 and go into 2024 with a bunch of to-do lists that never get to done. We're going to accomplish our goals. And one of the ways that's going to help us get there is to get really clear about what they are Develop a plan to attack those goals to get there. And then day by day, do something that is going to move us towards that goal. So we're not going to get caught in the world of busy, you know? Busy is easy. Busy is I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You can run down the list of all the things you have going on. But if you assess that list and you ask yourself, which of these things is going to get me where it is that I want to go? That's where your focus should be. All those other things are activities, they're busyness. But until you start to do the things that are going to move you towards the goals that you have, you're busy, but you're not productive. Busy is doing a lot of stuff. Productive is doing the right stuff at the right time to accomplish the goals that you have for yourself. So on this Focus Friday, we want to be focused on productivity. Am I producing the things that I desire? Am I taking actions that are going to get me to the finish line? Or are all these things that I've got planned for the day, all these unplanned activities that I've gotten pulled into, all of this stuff, is it getting me there? Is it holding me in place? Or even worse, is it taking me backwards? Am I completely off course? Assess those things regularly. If you're consistently asking yourself why am I doing what it is that I'm doing, right? Ask yourself that. And if the answer is because it's going to get me where I want to go, keep doing it and do it to the fullest. If the answer is makes you realize that these time robbers have come in, this little busy activity, that little busy activity, it was easy to say yes to each one of them because it was just a little bit of time. It was just doing a favor for a friend. It just seemed like a good thing to do. Oh, that seems interesting. Thought I'd try it, right? If we find ourselves in those cycles, responding that way, then we've probably slid away from productivity and back into busyness. And that's what we want to do. If we don't take anything from today, take the question, why am I doing what I'm doing? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing it now? What's the best next step for me to take towards the life that I'm trying to create? If you can identify what that is, why wouldn't you do it, right? It's the life that you want. So you're going to take the time throughout your day because our days are spinning so quickly. It's about to be the end of the year already. We're well into November now. So if we don't take control of our time, if we don't take control of our schedules, if we don't have the clarity that we need to know where we are today, point A, and where it is that we're trying to get, point B, all the activity could be for absolutely nothing because we've been busy for almost 11 months now. We've been absolutely busy for 11 months. But how productive have we been? How far along are we from the goals that we set for ourselves earlier this year? Right? That's going to measure your productivity, not the number of things that you've done, because that's the busy space. And we only have a finite amount of resources. We only have so much time, we only have so much energy, we only have so much in our finances. So we have to be selective. We deserve to be selective. Because if we're not careful, we'll end up living the life that someone else, or better yet, everyone else, has designed for us and never get around to the things that we were uniquely designed to do. And that's what that productivity is going to take you to. It's going to allow you to walk in your gifting. It's going to allow you with clarity to unapologetically go after the life that you so desire. You only get one. And if you spend it all up on busy, how will you feel about that at the end? There's something that you were designed to do. If you're not clear about that, let's talk. Let's figure out how to gain that clarity. If you know what it is, but you don't know how to get there, let's talk. Let's get that plan built so you have the day to day steps that you need to accomplish the life that you have. If you don't even understand that you deserve to have the life that you have, that you desire, that you don't have the ability to accomplish the life that you desire, if that's the messaging that's playing in your head, you're not deserving or you're not able, let's talk. Let's start doing the work right now so you don't drag those negative feelings into a new year. 2024 can be your year. It can be the year where you're focused and you're on point and you're knocking down your goals and you find yourself so much closer to the life that you desire. But it doesn't need to start in 2024. Forget those New Year resolutions. We need right now action. And in order to take that right now action, you need a plan. So reach out, hit me up in the DMs. Let's talk about it. I'm available. I'm a life coach. I focus on mindset, and I am absolutely here and capable of walking with you on your journey to get that negative messaging out of the way so that you can spend your energy not fighting with yourself, but actually focused in and creating the life that you desire. You absolutely deserve that. And I am absolutely here to help you on that journey. I won't ever tell you what to do. That's that because you know your life, you know your commitment, you know better than anyone will ever know, but I can certainly help you get those obstacles out of the way. I can help you get your plan created and help you walk that journey and help you be accountable and get the things that you desire going. So reach out, hit me up in the DMs and let's talk about it. Let's figure out where you are and what it oops, there you go. Let's figure out where you are and what it is that you need to do to get from where that you are now to where it is that you would like to be. I'd be honored to walk that walk with you. So, with that, that's our quote for the day. The first requisite for success is the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem without growing weary. Thomas Edison. So, Jay, I am going to mute and pitch it over to you, and you tell me how that hit you. What comes up for you this morning?
Oh, thank you, Cassandra. I appreciate that. Um, you know, I think what comes up for me is something I had a discussion with my wife last night with Renee. Um, I really have not slept well, and it's because I have goals and things I'm trying to accomplish, and yeah, I'm trying to get that book written and and ready to go. Um, so I'm putting it out there. Um, let me just say that Renee looked at me and said straight to my face, "You need to get that calendar up and working." And she's always,
Sounds like wifey told you to focus.
uh-huh.
Build your plan, work your plan, sir. Focus.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, I haven't had any sleep, just saying. I'm gonna sip my coffee, just so you know. Um, but that's it. And so when I hear the quote, especially the growing weary part, right? Without growing weary, yeah, I have to work that plan. Absolutely put those goals down into actionable items on a calendar. Um, but but deeper than that, and I'm going to start with the quote. I'm sorry, with the Bible verse, and it's Philippians chapter 3, verse 14. I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. And so this is the spiritual side of focusing and having a goal. And to me, it just means that I have to live in accordance to God's will, right? And leaving a legacy that will be appropriate in God's eyes and in the eyes of my family. The goal to me here represents the ultimate purpose or objective of Christian life, right? Which is often understood as becoming more Christ-like, and again, living in in accordance with God's will. So to me, the verse encourages believers to persistently pursue a life in accordance with God's will, and with the ultimate goal of receiving the heavenly reward promised by God through the calling that Jesus Christ had put upon us. And so, do do we live haphazardly? Do we just go about our day willy nilly? That's as a person of faith, we're called to live a life of purpose. And so, in living a life of purpose, you have to focus. And for me, living the life of purpose, I'm living it through being here on the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. That's just not a shameless plug. It's the truth. Um, because
A little shameless,
may,
Jay.
may, tad bit,
A little
tad
bit.
bit, just a little bit. But um, I think what what I what I'm trying to say is that we're called to lean into our purpose, and the purpose that I'm leaning into is being that storyteller
Mhm.
and sharing my story of faith, sharing my story of understanding where I come from, who I am, and who I want to be.
Let me ask you a question
Sure.
because I met you virtually few months ago.
Hmm.
And I remember the first time I met you, you were telling your tornado story. When I followed, hit your picture in the room to who's this guy? It talked about your help desk work and what you had been doing as as your profession. And it was really the tornado story, and the help desk was what you saw when you went to your profile. If you can remember, because we've had a front row seat to watch the evolution of Jay, the help desk guy who had overcome this storm through his faith and his DNA.
Sure.
We were a part of meeting. That's who we met. And now you're the content strategist. You're a the content strategist. Brian's face must have popped up. Now you're the storytelling strategist. You are you've introduced those voices. A lot of the visuals that we see and the things that we do, you've produced. So all these talents over the last couple of months, slowly but surely, are materializing for us. They've always been there, so it's not like they were created overnight. But they found their way into the light from this help desk guy who survived a tornado back April 27th. And I'll never forget that date because that's my birthday. So when I read your profile, read a little bit more about your story, and it began on April 27th. I was like, hey, that's my birthday. And so, that stuck. But to see how you show up now, how you've craft your story now, how you have branded yourself, and even though, and I'm not even saying branding from a business perspective, but just Jay the man, how you show up and what you share about yourself and how you do it is so different than when we originally met you. There's so because as people were they have so many layers, and you have peeled back multiple layers and allowed us in to more of you. Do you remember, did it just happen, or do you kind of remember that unfolding and the transformation and some of the things that you had to do in order for to get from that point A to the current point B, which we know is still evolving. So point B has no real end as long as we're still here. But can you take us back to what, because we know what we saw, but what has this evolution been like for you?
Um, it was basically becoming part of this family, becoming part of this LinkedIn family.
Mhm.
For me, this is that was the evolution. It was meeting everybody, having the initial meeting with brother Brian there, and with and Brian, I picked up his book,
Mhm.
and so two things coincided, right? I sat on that book. I read 3 chapters,
Mhm.
and I said, "Oh, I got to implement those things in those 3 chapters, and it'll help my LinkedIn profile."
Mhm.
But it didn't come together until we came together.
Well, that's interesting.
And then I sat there, and you and I and Eric were talking about certain things.
Okay.
And, and where could I go with my personal brand
Mhm.
and my business brand?
Mhm.
And I had already started to encourage other people while I was sharing my story on these LinkedIn audio events. I then said, if I'm encouraging others to share their story because I see the beauty and the potential for others and what that could mean for other audiences and other people to hear these stories, these individual stories, that is my purpose. That is my purpose. And I and in us having that conversation,
Uh-huh.
you, me, and Eric, the light bulb, the inspiration was there. It all came together. And let me tell you about alignment. And
Mm.
let's not make this an entire show about me, but I want to say let me talk about alignment. So I used to live in Hamilton, Alabama,
Right.
and you you
So
have
my to the folks who are listening in, the significance of that is my grandfather was from my mom's dad was from Hamilton, Alabama, and that was the only thing we knew about him. He left as a young man, came to Texas, started his family, and he left under difficult circumstances, and he never went back, and he never really talked about his life. He told us about his brother. Just to be transparent, his brother was about to be lynched, and the man who was about to kill his brother, my grandfather attacked him to free his brother. And he said when he left, he didn't know if the man was still alive, if he was dead, if he was whatever, somewhere in between. And back then, you couldn't even look, a black person couldn't look a white person in the eye. You definitely couldn't put your hands on them, even to save your loved one. So, and we're talking about the South. So, even as the laws and things were changing, things were not changing in the South. So after he knew that he had gotten his brother free, he fled, and he never went back home. He never saw any of his family ever again. And my mom was married to a truck driver, and he went through his route took him through Alabama, specifically into Hamilton one day. And we have a strange last name, especially for a black family, with Swinigan. And so it has an Irish tie to it. So we just always assumed that whoever owned our family, right, um, was that's where that name came from, right? And so he was in Hamilton one day, gassing up, doing what truck drivers do, getting ready to get back on the road. And he went into a little spot, and asked if the person who was behind the counter knew the Swinigans. And he goes, "Oh, sure. They live right down here." And he was like, "What?" He was like, there's actual family here with that name. And I was like, oh, sure, they've lived here for forever. There's so and so down here. One's a preacher, and just gave him the rundown on my mom's existing family that she had no idea that was there. And he said, "Do you mind, calling one of them?" And I think somebody came over and actually had a conversation with him. And from that, she started to get connected to her family through Facebook, and it's a huge family. They all for the first time, she saw people who looked like her, who had her same face features. They were all singers like she was, all, ministers in churches, and the things that she was so interested in her entire life. She found her people and where that in her DNA, you're always talking about your DNA, where that comes from. And so she has found a family, in her later years that she absolutely had no idea existed. And so she's now they're connected, and they have been for quite a few years now, because that was a while back. So when Jay said how first he had his tornado story that began on my birthday, and then he talked about Hamilton, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's where my grandfather was born. And so when we talk as the Fam Five, there's so many occasions where somebody is just sharing a part of their story, and it's like a ping pong ball just bouncing around, because there's so much linkage, there's so much alignment between our stories. Yeah, it's just odd. It's oddly wonderful, but it's odd to find people that you're so energetically, synergistically connected with on all these little things that would mean absolutely nothing to the average person. But when you say Hamilton, Alabama, that you've got my attention. You're talking about the family history that I didn't know. When you say April 27th, you're talking about my history. That's when I began. So it's just strange. There's so many things like that that connect the five of us together, and it's just been wonderful. It's like an Easter egg hunt every day. Because we're having story, we're just talking, and these little connections make themselves known to us, and we don't take that lightly, and we don't take it as, just a bunch of coincidences. We see that as divine alignment that's reminding us of why we found each other, and why when we did there was these instant connections, because it's supposed to be. There are things that, sure, we all have our individual aspirations and things that we want to accomplish, but there are things absolutely that we are designed to do as a collective. And I believe those things that we are designed to do as a collective are really going to make this, or at least our little slice of the world, a better place. And so I'm grateful every time we hear about how we're more intertwined than we realize. So thanks for that reminder, Jay.
Oh yeah. So just to kind of wrap it up, this is the power of storytelling, and this is the power of faith and focus. It
Hmm.
brings people together in alignment with our thoughts, ideas, perspectives, and insights. But we are all different, and we're all individuals, but
Right.
together as a collective in faith and in trust as a LinkedIn family, it really is blossoming into something that is really beautiful. And so I just want to encourage everybody to remember to keep that in mind when we talk about focus and the scripture I just shared. And with that being said, I'm just gonna give the mic back to you, Cassandra, so we can have the other brothers talk.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for your share this morning, Jay. We've got a few folks that have dropped comments in, so let me run through those, and then we will see if Brian is able to share. All right. So Coral says, "Hey, all from across the pond. Glad to see you all." Conchita, fabulous Friday to everyone. It's going to be an amazing day. You are absolutely right. It is going to be an amazing day. Let's see, who else do we see here? Oh, Conchita says, love that. The to-do list needs to get to done. That's my bad grammar, but I say it all the time. We've got to get from to do to done. I tell my kids that. Will Baptiste, good morning. He said, good morning, fam. Glad to see you here. Conchita, I have determined that The mantra shall be 2024 is the year to score. All right. There you go. You got another Dr. Seuss on your hands, Brian. You hear that? 2024 is the year to score. I like it.
2024 is the year to score.
Yeah, it has a little or nice little syncopation, a little rhythm to it, right? I like it. I like it. We're gonna share that. We're gonna have that up there for a minute, Coachita. And then Coral says, I love this today. I'm loving this today. There's Michael, my wonderful VA, flashing hearts, and he says, "Good morning, fam five." Conchita said, "Great scripture reminder, Jay. Perfect words to set your path for the task at hand." And then she also said, Jay turned a mess into a beautiful message. Yes, he did. Poku says, hello from Senegal. Hello from Senegal. There's our wonderful Dr. Marcia saying, good morning. She said, powerful story. And nothing just happens. God doesn't merely observe us. I'm going to put that up here too. Nothing just happens. God doesn't merely observe us passively going along. He is a participant observer, orchestrator, and problem solver. Amen to all of that. A participant observer. He's in this thing with us. We're not doing it by ourselves. And he brings in those with the gifts and talents and skills to enhance what we have. So many folks are afraid of letting someone else's light shine. I can't have Dr. Marcia on here because she's a doctor. I don't have my PhD. I'm not a doctor. She speaks so well and with so much passion. But when you bring others along and let their light so shine, you become stronger. As a collective, we're stronger. Jay's storytelling, right? Brian's content strategy, Eric's writing, Denise's gig economy, doing all the things that she's doing, showing us the way that you can live the life. She's it in action. She is what we're talking about in action, not just having a dream, but living it out loud every single day. Putting that together is way more impactful than one of us. I was out here by myself for a very long time until this expanded to include the Fam Five. And I don't think there's anybody who doesn't think that it's better now than it was before. That doesn't hurt my feelings. That doesn't make me feel like, I may be losing something. I've gained a family. I've gained new audience members. I've gained new perspectives, new ways of looking at things. We don't see things eye to eye. We don't. But when we don't see them eye to eye, it's time for a conversation. How do we work through this? How do we go from five opinions to one direction? We have to work on that on a regular basis. That's what collaboration forces. Because once you stop doing that, you're no longer collaborating. Maybe somebody's dictating, somebody's falling behind. You've lost the power of the collective. So not going it alone, everyone being a participant observer with the ultimate participant observer who's orchestrating it all for us and solving our problems as we bring them to him. That's the power. That's the magic. That's where things really get into alignment and move how they're supposed to move. So don't be afraid of the gifts and talents of other people. When you let their light shine, it shines on you. Now you're more illuminated than you ever were. There's power in working together. Absolute power. All right, let's see. Then Coral says, and it's always great to see you, Eric, in the great outdoors showing us the sunshine. I saw him lean forward, so I think he heard that. Sonia said, good morning. Paulette said, yes. And Dr. Marcia says, I am a servant. You are a servant. And not only are you a servant, Dr. Marcia, but you are also a vessel. And we see the word, we see the light, we see that flowing through you. And that's a part of your magnetism. That's a part of what draws me to you because I know you're showing up with a pure heart and a servant's mentality, looking to see how you can make your slice of the world better. So appreciate you being here and what you share here as well as what you've got going on in your own space. It's always good stuff. All right, I think we have gotten through all the comments. So let me put the quote back up there for you, Brian. And if you can unmute and share, the first requisite for success is the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem without growing weary. Thomas Edison. How does that strike you this morning, Brian?
It reminds me of a quote by Winston Churchill. Failure is the propensity, or success is the propensity to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. That's what this quote means for me. And the reason it means that is because success is a journey. It's not the destination. Is you're never going to be finished with this with this marathon. You just got to keep placing your bets. You got to keep placing your bets every day. You got to keep going in there. You can't get weak. You can't get tired. You can't get weary. You can't get sad. You can't get disgruntled. You're gonna have your moments of being tired, doubt, even moments of weakness. But don't let it take over your emotions to the point where you feel like you can't make it. You can't keep going. Right? You can't afford to lose your enthusiasm. Regardless of what goes on, you gotta keep pressing forward. That's the key, is being able to move forward without losing that enthusiasm. Because moving is just moving. You could be running around in a circle. You could be going and back and forth across the street like a squirrel. My mom used to have this saying, "Crazy as a road lizard." You ever seen a lizard in the road, like on a major highway? It just stays right there in the middle, like it know it's gonna die because it's going back and forth in between that same 12 inches, back and forth, crazy as a road lizard. But that focus is what stops you dead in your tracks so you can look across and see which way you're supposed to go and go ahead and move in that direction. And you have to be able to do that without getting weary, because if you do, then you lose that ability to focus. You lose that ability to concentrate. You lose that ability to discern, okay, what should I be doing now? And then all that ties back into everything we talked about this week: being thoughtful, right? Being woke, being just being grateful that you have what you have, right? See, all of this is how you get your mind to be able to focus on those things to prevent you from getting weary. And it's not magic. It's anybody can do but it takes work. It takes practice. It's gonna take some sacrifice, but anybody can do it. And when you start to do it, what happens is you find yourself not giving up. So the other day, I don't know if I told you, Cassandra, but my internet was out for a few days. And my youngest was coming in. She was like, "Man, you got to get that fixed." Now I was telling her, I said, "It's on the roof. I can only do one thing at a time. I got two hands." She was like, "Well, you need to borrow some more. You got to get that internet fixed." I was like, "Look, man, I'm not worried about the internet right now. I got internet right where I need it, and that's good." She said, "Well, what about me?" I said, "Okay, I'm gonna fix it. I'll fix it next week." So
She had
one
to help
day I
you
said,
adjust your focus. You was focused on what you had. Bree said, "What about me?"
she said,
Adjust
"What
your
about
focus.
me?" I
Adjust
refocused,
your focus, Dad.
and I listen. What When I refocused that moment, because the reason I wasn't doing it was because I was feeling like this is something that's gonna make me weary. But when she said what she said, I refocused. And that sense of weary just fell to the side. And I got this new sense of drive and motivation. And now I'm up here troubleshooting uh, hardware. I'm troubleshooting cable. I'm taking all of the cable apart back to the pole. And eventually, after 3 hours and 2 hours on the phone with tech support and buying a new modem, I figured out what the problem was and I fixed it. And I took that other modem back to the store. But I didn't get weary because I was able to refocus. Had I let that moment of despair take over and be like, man, I can't believe this is happening, and stayed there, I wouldn't have internet access today, because now you got to wait for the tech support to come out. They don't really know what they're doing. The thing about moving forward and having that momentum is not to let the distractions overcome you. When you do that, then you don't have that sense of enthusiasm that it takes to keep moving forward. Oh, and
Is
by the
it?
way,
Mhm.
no, no, go ahead. What were you going to
I
say?
was just gonna say, is it fair to say that your why was bigger than all those things that were going on around you? Your why became her.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Your why is what drives you, is what pushes you, and that's why you have to know your definite objective. If you don't
Exactly.
know that definite objective, you can forget about it. You're not gonna have that drive, that momentum, that little to keep you going when it does get rough, and it's gonna get rough. But what
I
I was gonna
put
say
that
was,
that is the do. That definite objective is the do behind your to-do list and what will help you get from to
oh,
do to
to
done.
done. Oh, and speaking of to done, you to done did this show today.
You to done did this show today.
You to done did it.
See, I'm from the South too, so I'm right there with you.
You did. I'm sitting up here listening to you, man. It's like it's seriously the way you put that out there to Jay.
Mhm.
I'm sitting up here and I'm listening, and it's sounding like I said, "Am I in the Cassandra Terry Morning Show, or am I in the Good Morning Show?"
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for waking me up today. Yeah,
Oh,
wake up,
goodness.
everybody.
Oh, my
Great job.
goodness.
Great job.
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna go.
sir. Thank you,
I'm a,
sir. I
I'm a mute
appreciate
now.
that.
I can go on.
I did have a question for you too, though, if you have time.
Oh yeah. What's your question?
So, even on LinkedIn, we know you in different ways. We know you as Mr. Content. We know you as Dadpreneur. We know you have your Content Creation University. We know you have your book, The Road to Influence. We know as Dadpreneur how important Bree and the rest of your family is. She literally, if she popped in right now, she would be today's fifth member of the morning show because if she's asking you for something, you could be mid-sentence and you're going to give her your focus and your attention and take care of whatever her need is. You've taught people that that's okay. You've normalized being a parent first and then building the rest of your life around the needs of your family, which is the opposite of the way that we've talked about work-life balance forever. It was never life work balance. It was always work-life balance. And you've normalized that very well. So without me even thinking really, much, those are a lot of different hats and a lot of different ways that you show up um, for us on LinkedIn and allow us to see how you show up for your family. Can you talk about how using focus as a tool, as a way of life, as the way you choose to think, however it works for you, how focus has helped you maneuver all of that and make what I just said a fact.
Mm. You know, that's a really interesting question because the book is really all about that journey that I had. Because when I first got started, I didn't have a manual, and I really spent way too much time trying to integrate, trying to figure out how, how am I gonna make this this empire? How am I gonna make all of this this scroll and still take care of my family? And it took a while. Matter of fact, my oldest came to me one day and she was like, "Look, man," she was like, "I understand what you're doing, but all I really want to do is hang out sometime." She said, "I just want you to go to some of the places that I go." And we used to go places,
Hmm.
but I didn't go to the places that she wanted to go. I was always too busy or I had something to do. And she was like, "That's not what I wanted." So,
Dad, I want your focus.
"Dad, I want your focus." So I realized right then I had to shift my focus. I had the complete wrong idea about what I needed to be doing and what was important. And what I thought was right was actually wrong. And I shifted it. I didn't
Mhm.
make any excuses for it. I didn't beat myself up over it. I didn't keep thinking about it. I just made a decision to do something different. And I did something different with them, with the oldest two. But when Bree came around, I made the decision to make that my main focus. Let's get that right. Let me work on this. Let me figure out, how I can help somebody else. Because when she came around, I really thought it was just about her, but what I found out was that it was about it was about me.
Mhm.
It was about how I came up and how I felt like, I didn't get the right amount of focus, even though I believe I had some really great parents, but
Mhm.
even when I was a kid, I was like, something missing here. I want to be able to go out and go camping. I want to be able to go out and do this. I want to learn this. I want to learn that. And my parents were always so busy working, right?
Mhm.
Trying to put a life together. And I got that, but I was like my oldest. I just wanted more time. So
Mhm.
I made a conscious, concerted effort to just focus everything I had on Bree for the first 5 years. And when I did that, I realized so much more about myself.
Mm.
I realized I didn't know as much as I thought I did. I realized, there's a different way, a better way you can communicate and talk to people. All of this to say, her being here helped me to tighten up my focus. And the
Mm.
older she gets, the more I tighten it. The older one get, the more I tighten it up. Focus for me is not like a one time thing. Like every day I'm having to refocus.
Right.
Some comes up here and I'm like, I gotta tighten this up. I can't look at this like this and I can't look at it like that. People think of focus as being a straight line. Focus is whatever you have to do to get back in line.
I love it. Love that. Focus is whatever you have to do to get back in line. That's one to write down. The other thing that you said that really stuck is you made a decision. When Bree was born, you made a decision that that was going to be your focus. And guys, making a decision is such an important part of how we live our lives. A lot of times we're just going along with the flow. Whichever way the wind blows us, whatever comes up, we're reacting to that, and that becomes our priority of the moment. That's what has our time and attention. It's not what you planned, it's not what you intended to do with your time, but that's what's come up. So here I go. So you're chasing all these external things. But when you make a decision, you put yourself back in the driver's seat. You get in control of what you're doing with your time, your energy, your focus, which allows you to get into alignment and back to and working with or allowing what is put in you to start to come to fruition, to mature. Dr. Marcia talked about this observant, this how participatory he is. He doesn't just sit back and watch our lives unfold. We've got an active participant, and not only is he an active participant, but he designed an ultimate course for us. But if we're not taking the time to gain that clarity and to see that course and to build the plans to get there and to be that vessel and allow those things to come through you. If you're not stepping back and making the decision that you're going to walk that walk, making the decision that you're going to do what it is that you were designed to do, it starts with that. Your commitment comes from those decisions that you make. We're making them all day long, but I bet you 95% of the decisions that we make we're not even aware of. And trust me when I tell you, a non-decision is a decision in and of itself. You've still made a decision. So don't feel like, yeah, I didn't choose. That wasn't me. I didn't. If you don't do anything, you've made a decision still. So all we're asking you to do is to tap in and be cognizant of the decisions that you're making and assess whether or not those decisions are taking you where you want to go, right? If you choose to buy that new bag, if you choose, like I did on Wednesday, to go see your new favorite band and to stay up late, you're gonna sound a little graggly, crockly. Yeah, I'm hoarse. I sound like this because of a decision I made a couple days ago. I'm tired because I didn't get enough sleep on Wednesday and Thursday. So here I am Friday fighting for my throat because I've made a decision to go and hang out with the hubby instead of going to bed like a 55-year-old should. But it was fun. It was a decision that I made because it was time to go recharge a little bit and have a good time. But I knew in making that decision, and he even said, "Are you sure you're up to it? Yeah, yeah, let's go. I'd love to hear some live music tonight." I knew in making that decision, I was gonna have to find time to catch up on my rest and give my body back what it needs. And I knew I wouldn't get a lot of that time between then and now because I've got the job, I have the business, I have all the things that I still needed to do, right? Yesterday I was at a conference all day long. So that time was already spent. So guess what? This weekend, y'all's girl getting some sleep because she tired. But I knew that going in. I weighed the objective. I weighed it and said, a little bit of fun right now is what I need more than the sleep, frankly, because I was tired in a different way. I needed to recharge my battery a little bit. So you've got to talk to yourself. You have to weigh in with you and make decisions, right? That are going to give you what you need to keep going and get where it is you want to go, where you need to go. If you don't, that time is going to be spent anyway. Your attention will be spent, your resources will be spent anyway. I'm just asking you to be aware of where you're spending them and how you're spending it. And that way you are in a position to determine if it's the right, if you're building up the right debt, right? Who wants a bunch of credit card debt for a bunch of stuff that they're only going to use temporarily? That's debt. But I built up a little bit of debt this week. I've got a sleep deficit because I made a choice to go and recharge my battery a different way. So your girl got some sleep, have to hydrate a little bit more, loosen up this throat, need to give my body a little bit of different care. But we can make good decisions for ourselves based on what we really need if we just turn the switch, if we just tap in a little bit and become aware of what we're doing. We arrive at places all the time with no idea how we got there because we're not woke, we're not awake. We're not living with intention. We're not focused. We may not have the clarity we need to even know where it is we're trying to go. If you don't know where what your destination is, how do you know when you get there? How do you know how to get there? So that clarity is so important. And then you know what to focus on. So it's all tied together. That's why week in and week out, we have the same subjects Tuesday through Friday from different angles because eventually it's going to sink in. If you're not going to get everything all in one bite, right? So you come back, you take a little bit this today, incorporate that in your world. Next week you grab something else, incorporate that in your world. Then it's time well spent because you're actually integrating something new. You're doing something different, which is the only way to have something different, right? All right, so with that, we have a few more comments that have come in. Coral said, Mr. Content, you always drop those nuggets of wisdom. Appreciate it. Paulette says, when you don't focus, we start living someone else's dreams or goals. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Coral says, I love that to done. And she laughed. Dr. Marcia, you get more meaningful answers when you ask why instead of what. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Eric. The first requisite for success is the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem without growing weary. Thomas Edison. So I'm going to mute and you tell us what comes up for you in all the conversations we've had, the quote, or whatever it is you'd like to share this morning.
Thank you and good morning. Um, First and foremost, how you doing, Jay? Brian, I don't see you on stage anymore, but we sending our love to you, sir, and Denise as well, who's on top of a mountain, running the world, right? And so we give our love and energy to our gig economist expert, Denise. And hey, Cassandra, how you doing? I know you say that you're not feeling the best and you got to catch up on sleep, but you rocking it. So um, let you know Friday is your day. So um, what I wanted to respond to, or what it immediately the quote made me think of, is that weary part, because I know that's the part that we all struggle with when it's 2 in the morning. We're still trying to figure out that last thing we want to write for our book, or uh, we're finishing things as entrepreneurs. We work all sorts of hours. And so the message that I wanted to give, what struck me right away, is make sure that you're getting some physical exercise. Make sure that no matter what throughout your day, we've seen Brian start walking. We see that I'm out here grounding right now. Just make sure that there is some part of your day that you are getting in some physical exercise. And you could be modified. It could be sit-ups, push-ups. Don't worry about how you look. Folks used to ask me all the time, "Why are you doing foot push-ups in public?" That was the time I had to do it. That was the time I thought to do it. I did it. It truly does not matter. If you want to get in some physical activity, you want to take a walk on your lunch break, whatever encourages you, whatever gets you moving, your body needs to move. Your body needs to move. And so I encourage you to please get that physical exercise in. Like I said, Brian has been walking. I've seen Cassandra Terry, her and her husband have just started their walking challenge again. And so I just want to make sure that, like drinking water as well, that we are doing something healthy for our bodies and move and being physical, getting outside, getting some air, grounding, as I mentioned. The earth breathes. So put your feet in the earth and let it help you breathe. So um, that's what I wanted to add, was really just a reminder about that physical activity. Our bodies need motion and movement. So remember to move. So that was what my message was this morning, Cassandra. I don't know if you have a question for me or not, but just want to give that Friday motivation to keep it moving this weekend. Stay physically active, condition yourself, your body, and your mind.
I love that. I love that. It's so important. It's so important, especially for me. I say it all the time. I'm 55. So I have some creaking and cracking going on in these old bones. And so the more I move around, the better I feel. And so I say it to my mom all the time, motion is lotion, and she rolls her eyes. But because she gets a real stiff neck and think, and I'm like, you've got to move. You have to move. And so I do have a question for you. We see you grounding, and we've heard about how you've used that as one of the techniques as you've gone through your own loss. And so I just wanted you to take what you just said about the moving of the body and tie that a little bit tighter to how that helps you with focus, how it helps you not to grow weary. Because I know that's kind of what stuck with you today. And I felt that if I go walking, I get my endorphins going, and it helps my mood. But just tie that together for us a little bit, because you from your profession, you're working with people on a regular basis. You're teaching them other things, ways to move through their pain, and you have rooms and stuff associated with that. So just give us a little bit more, just from your expert opinion, on ways that moving and other things can help us maintain our focus and not grow weary.
Absolutely. So thank you for the question. First of all, that's a
Mhm.
great question. I think it ties directly into our emotional intelligence and wellness for home-based entrepreneur workshops that we're going to do at
That's
the end of the
true.
month as well. So thank you
That's
for this
true.
question. So one of the things that I talk about, and one of the things that I think helps helps most folks, but really I think homed in, it helps me, and what I focused in on is how I use physical exercise during my day. And so I
Mhm.
mentioned yesterday that I received um, uh, payment for work rendered that bounced. The tender
Mhm.
was null, and so I was frustrated, so frustrated I forgot to eat.
Right.
But I did also have another client who
Mhm.
is amazing and who will be on the Cassandra Terry Morning Show one day. She is a spectacular human being. She is full of love and life and energy. And I was not going to bring any of my negative attitude or energy into a meeting with her. So
Mhm.
before I even pulled up the Zoom to meet with her, I was on the ground doing push ups. I was doing jumping jacks, sit ups. I was doing everything it took to kind of burn through some of that negative energy so that when I met with her, I could
Yeah.
inhale, exhale, take a breath, and be of service, because this opportunity to be of service to this wonderful human being who will light the world. I can't wait to have her on this stage. Um, I wanted to be fully there for her and fully in service to her. One
Mhm.
of the first days that we worked together, I told her, or the first day we worked together, I told her, I work for you. I know that that may be hard for you to conceive as a 9-year old, but but you've paid my salary. I work for you, and so this is how I'm providing a service for you. And so, yeah, I'm motivated to share how I utilize exercise as a way to control my emotional um, or to be emotionally intelligent, be emotionally aware, right? I recognize that I was down here and I needed to meet my client up here. And a few
Mhm.
push-ups will help get that blood circulating, help focus that mind on the objectives at hand, and be of service.
Love it.
I'm here on purpose for a purpose. My
Mhm.
purpose is to be of service. I've Working in education for me has always felt like what I was designed to do. But
Mhm.
within education, helping people tell their stories and write their stories through their trauma, like taking candy from a baby. This is what I was designed to do. And getting inside a tribe, right? Being as Jay was talking about, being in the tribe has helped me whittle down that that gift, right, that I'm blessed with, to serve others. And
Mhm.
so I'm grateful for the tribe this Friday for helping me focus my talents and abilities like more purely, more specifically, more focused. And so, um, yeah, thank you for that question. I appreciate it.
You're
That was a
welcome. You're
great
welcome.
question.
And I there was a few things that was resonating with me as you were talking. The first thing you said, well, not the first thing you said, but the first thing that really grabbed me was again back to making a decision. You made a decision that you would not let the negative client experience impact the client experience that you were about to create. So again, we have so much more power than we give ourselves. If we would just tap in and realize what state that we're in, we have the ability to adjust. So once you made a decision, I've got all this ick all over me, right? And I don't want to give it to this next client. So I've got to clean myself up. So now that you're aware of that, you are in a position to start to use some of the techniques that you know that will help you move from where you are to where you want to be, right? So I need to get some physical, I need to burn some of this energy off, get rid of some of this negative energy, get those endorphins flowing, help me focus my brain. So let me do something physical that works for me. I also know that you have your room writing through your pain. So journaling and writing is another way that you release and you teach others to release. So the important thing is to have that set of tools readily available to you because life will keep lifing. Things will keep happening. There will be clients who won't show up, won't give you a call. The payment that they give you may not be good. You may get in a little fender bender. There's just life. Life is going to keep happening. But how you respond, not react, how you respond to those things is where your choice lies. That's your first choice. You
That
didn't
letter
have the
writing is another one of those. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just
yes,
wanted to interject
yes.
that the letter writing is also one of those tools, and I know that's something that we spent some time with post and communicating through post about the letter writing, and so I just wanted to throw that out there. That's another one of the tools that we'll use in our workshop, writing letters.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Who takes the time to do much writing beyond the text these days? But when you just think about putting that pen to paper and physically taking the time and the energy and the effort and focus to pour out some of you onto a page for somebody, it's such an intimate and thoughtful act. So
I'll
yeah, I
flip
think
it and
that
I'll ask you the question, Jay and Cassandra. How did it feel to receive a letter in the
to me
mail
it,
in
it was
2023?
and it wasn't a bill. It felt great. And it made me feel like I knew you a little bit better because there's so much more, and it's like not just what's said, but how it's said, and so you just get to know a little bit more about a person when they take the time to write a letter. And I was like a kid during the holidays, I checking the mail. I was telling myself, "Go check the mail. I'm waiting on a letter." And we haven't even had a chance to talk about this. We've been so busy, but it's right here. My letter is it's like propped up, like on my books and stuff. So it's the first thing I see when I walk into my office now. So it has its little place. It's not that often that somebody would take the time. And there's Jay's letter right there. I can reach mine. It's literally right here. So I keep it in front of me. Um and then you in mine you included some pictures. So getting to know even a little bit of your family and getting to know
Everybody
another
got
role.
pictures.
Okay.
Just as, because I know there's a favorite.
Yeah, we know. We already
Everybody got
know.
pictures. Everybody got pictures.
I only saw my letter, so I'm just saying. Not to start no turf war, but I got pictures in mine. Oh goodness, so you guys are funny.
Jay
But
just
yeah,
showed a picture. I sent Jay a picture of my son. Is that the picture you showed, Jay?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to answer your question. So, in my house, I am the guy who looks out for the mail. Renee used to ask, "Why do you go get the mail? All that's in there is bills or
Mm-hmm.
junk mail." And I'm like, "I don't know. There's something about checking the mail that
Mm-hmm.
just gets me going."
that
I guess it goes.
anticipation.
It's that. Yeah, it's like you're right. I guess it goes back to that Christmas morning where you go check for something and there it is. You've got
Mm-hmm.
something in the mail or you've got something under the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
actually recently it's been great because um, I finally got the check in the mail from the contract that was supposed to
Yeah.
pay me 6 months ago. So I'm like,
Might not come when you want it, but it's right on time.
Hey.
hey. And you know what? When you were talking about moving and exercise and stuff, I was over here trying to dance in my chair.
Mhm. There you go. There you go.
You see what Dr. Marcia said, condition your body and your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Motion
Motion
is
is
lotion.
lotion.
And she
Absolutely.
said holistic health is so important. Paulette said, have a blessed day, everyone. I saw Camille too. And Coral said, thank you for sharing. Thank you, Eric, for sharing. I love it. Alexander says hello. Let's see. And I saw Camille basically come. She came in a little bit ago. I'm not sure. Focused, fierce, and faith all day, every day. I love
Mhm.
that, Camille. I didn't even see that
Mhm.
comment. Then she
Love that
said,
for you.
"Morning fam, 5 minus 1 today. Have a fantastic
Mhm.
Friday, my awesome vibe tribe."
Let's connect, Camille. Let's connect, Camille. We're right there. Let's connect, Camille. Let's do it. We're right there.
Right there, right
We're
there.
right
Nothing
there,
to it
Camille.
but to
We're
do
right
it.
there. Nothing to it but to do it. You got it. You got it. I
Nothing
believe
to
in
it
you.
but to do
I believe
it.
in you.
All right. So, Jay, did you? I don't know. I think we cut you off mid sentence there. You want to finish your thought?
No, I mean, I think that was it. It was just that, I think that it's important, just like everybody was saying, motion is lotion. Right? You gotta and I gotta put something in there about ocean because I'm from the Pacific Islands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Motion
So
is lotion. Move your body like the
ocean,
ocean.
ocean.
Hey,
Hey,
I think we just came up with our theme
hey,
song. I think we just
bars.
came up with our theme song. Motion is the lotion. Move your body like a ocean. Ow.
So this, in case people don't know, this is what happens to me when I'm sleep deprived. I get absolutely silly. Sometimes my husband will look at me and go, "Uh-oh, it's time for a nap." Because I've lost it. I'm outside the bounds of reason. I just get silly. So yeah, can't sing, especially with a froggy throat. But there it is. There it is.
And
All
still
right.
100%. And still the best mindset
And
coach in
if
the world. and still the best
And if
mindset
you
coach in the world, and still the
and if
best
you want me
mindset
to
coach in the world.
Wooka wooka.
if you want me to go ahead and put the if you want me to put the beats behind it, I also can
Please put
create
the
beats.
beats. I'll start singing. Cassandra, you got my
Mhm.
backup?
I got you.
All right, let's go.
Doo-doo-doo.
Let's make this morning show theme song.
Yeah, it's
Like
gonna
the
happen.
ocean in
It's
my
gonna happen.
ocean, move my body like the ocean.
We
So
have to put the mind in there. We have to put the mind in there.
don't be surprised if you guys get the beats next week
Hey,
for the show.
I
don't threaten
imagine
us
on
with a good
Tuesday,
time.
right? I
Don't
was about to
threaten
say,
us with a good time.
I think on Tuesday we're gonna have a theme song. I'm just putting it out there. I think by Tuesday, magically, there will be a theme song.
Oh, look, Paulette said, I certainly love letters and pictures. I have a
Mhm.
real estate agent who sends me yearly letters for the past 15 years.
15
I
years.
still look forward to the updates. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That is
Awesome.
awesome. And Coral said we're funny. I think we moved past funny, Coral, and into silly. All right,
It's that
let
lack
me
of
put
sleep,
the
y'all.
it is. It is. I know I get silly. I know it. I know it. I know it. All right, let's put the quote back up to wrap this up. You guys have been wonderful and hung with us for over an hour today. So we're going to give you your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you are in the world. Wish you one full of love and light. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend to recharge and give yourself exactly what you need. Come back next week ready to live the best version of yourself. There is my friend Lisa. She said it's obviously Friday with the Fam Five. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, our quote again to close out the day is the first requisite for success is the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem without growing weary. And that's from Thomas Edison. So, we are going to leave that with you guys. We love you all so much and are so grateful that you joined us on this Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We will be back on Tuesday morning at 7:15 a.m. Central, and we will talk about transformation because Tuesdays are Transformation Tuesday. Have a blessed weekend,
Have
everybody.
a
We will
blessed
see you back
weekend.
here next week. Thank you.
Saturday story time with Jay at 10.
Saturday morning, 10 Eastern, 9 Central, storage time with Jay. If you want to get to know more layers of this guy, if you want to hear the voices, the characters that he brings to life, story time with Jay is amazing. It starts with some island music. He teaches us sometimes words from his culture. He
Hmm.
the tomorrow, right, Jay?
Hmm. Hmm.
Tomorrow, yes.
So he
Hmm.
teaches us
You
a
got
little bit of his language. He shares the stories, and then we close out. We have a chance to tell our stories as well, and then he closes out with more of the island music. So it's a beautiful way to get your Saturday morning started. It's at 10 Eastern,
Hmm.
9 a.m. Central every Saturday morning. So looking
Join us.
forward
It's a
to that.
treat.
Yes, yes.
I
Can
promise you.
Jay, can you tell them can you bring in and
Cletus.
Cletus and just have Cletus invite everybody to join us tomorrow morning?
listen, if I have to uh-oh. I think we ended the stream now.
No, we still going, Cletus. We're good.
Okay, I didn't understand. I didn't know what's going on. You know me, I don't know nothing about this technology. But listen, if I have to take my time out from slopping hogs to mess around with y'all on Saturday, y'all better be there. Y'all better come now. I ain't gonna be the only one out there. If I don't see y'all, I'm gonna come for you now. You know,
Uh-oh.
I got me a 30 out. I know how to use that scope.
Uh-oh.
Um, I'm not gonna hunt you down.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna look for you through the scope. I'm not saying I'm gonna hunt you down now. That's not what I'm saying.
Be
I'm
easy,
glad, Mr.
Cletus. Be
Cletus,
easy,
because
Cletus.
I told Jay to bring you on and ask you to invite the people in, not to threaten them.
Oh no, no, I would never do that, especially on in public and on a recorded video. No, no, ma'am. I'm
So
better than
Mr.
that.
Cletus said, "Mama didn't raise no fool."
Yeah, and there were 10 of us in our family, so she didn't raise 10 fools.
So how are things going for you on this wonderful Focus Friday? What are you focused on today, Mr. Cletus?
Oh, getting my chores done and making sure I'm able to get everything done before the sun go down, because now the sun go down at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know why, but that I'd have to get things done basically early. That way I can enjoy my little sloppy moonshine at the end.
Uh-oh. Do you have some fresh moonshine made? You got a new batch, or are you running low?
I'm running low. Did you not hear? I just said sloppy moonshine.
Oh, that's what that
And when I
means.
yeah, sloppy moonshine is the stuff I just have left over because I
Oh,
didn't get the good mash going. So
okay.
I'm just sipping on some of the things that, that kind of fell off to the wayside. I didn't want, it's not that premium stuff.
It's not premium. It's not premium for premium. You just
It,
you at the bottom of
mhm.
the barrel.
I am exactly the bottom of the barrel. That is exactly right. And that, but sometimes it's the best stuff because it's the higher proof at the bottom. It's got all the
Uh-oh.
everything, everything kind of sinks to the bottom, and that, you may get a little mash in there, but it's all right. It's all good.
Well, don't do too much, Mr. Cletus, because we were looking forward to hearing you tomorrow morning. We don't want you to
Yeah,
oversleep.
no, I don't oversleep. I can't. If I oversleep, you might as well call the coroner because there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, those hogs won't slop themselves, huh?
You got that right. That's the only thing keeping me alive. My chores and my bills. I got to get all of that squared away. Otherwise, I'd probably be in the ground. That's not a lie.
Oh, well, and I'm sure the moonshine helps too.
Oh yeah, it keeps every y'all were talking about lotion and motion and all of
Hmm.
that.
Uh-huh.
That's what keeps everything greased, and that's what that's what keeps the that's what keeps my arteries flowing,
Keep everything flowing.
flowing and greased. That's what that is.
Flowing and grease.
That's what moonshine does for you. It's good for the soul. That's what I say.
Well, Mr. Cletus, we appreciate. I know sometimes we stress you out, calling you away from your chores at the last minute when you've got stuff to do. You're a man on a mission, so we are always appreciative when you step away from your chores and spend a few minutes with us. And hopefully, those who got a chance to meet you today will join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central and get to hear a little bit more about you, and maybe some of Jay's other friends will come as well. We never know, but we know you're kind of standing. We always look for you, so hopefully you'll be there.
Oh yeah, you know I am with bells on.
All right, all right. Well, Mr. Cletus, it's always a pleasure. Could you ask Jay to rejoin us so we can say goodbye to everybody?
Absolutely, Jay. Come on up here now.
Thank you, sir. Jay, I don't know how you do it. That Mr. Cletus is something else.
Something
You better not
else.
you better not get on his bad side. You never know when he may have you in his scope.
Yeah, I have to always look behind me to make sure you know he's got a pair of Stacy Adams he hasn't scored up yet.
Yeah, we don't want if we see a different print, we know what happened.
Right,
Mr. Cletus
right.
lost his cool and took that Stacey Adams to the back of your head.
Mhm.
Hello,
Hmm.
Brenda Lee. So you caught us at the end. We wrapping up and we full of silliness at the moment. But
Absolutely.
Mr. Cletus just came and said hello to everybody. So hello, Sonia. I see you saying that you are here. So the Fam Five is really probably about the Fam 10 when Jay and all his personalities show.
Fam 20. We're up
Right,
to
right,
20
right. And
voices
growing and
and
growing.
growing.
All
Yeah.
right, so let's let everybody get on with their Friday, and we will see you guys back here Tuesday morning at 7:15 Central on the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We are going to leave you with the quote: "The first requisite for success is the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem without growing weary. Thomas Edison. So you guys take that, do the good work, don't grow weary, and we'll see you back on Tuesday at 7:15 a.m. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye bye.